Hello, how's everybody? I just came back from Connecticut. I was there for a few days, and that's the reason why I was not able to post anything. But today, I'm going to post something very important, and that is, who needs to get a Philippine passport? Do we really need this? I hear a lot of people telling me that all I need is that dual citizenship certificate. I'm getting a lot of questions on that, and that's what we're going to talk about. Stay with me, we'll talk about it. I received an email from one of my viewers who is very diligent in responding to some of the questions, and that is Black Mamba. Thank you very much, Black Mamba, for participating in this important discussion. He did send me an email, and that's what I'm going to address. So let's take a look at the email. This came in September 24th, but like what I said, I went to Connecticut, so I did not have the time to do it. Vlogger Grandpa, it's a pity that some dual citizens underestimate the value of also having a Philippine passport. Although the dual citizen paperwork can get you on board on non-PAL airline without having a return ticket within 30 days, for example, or that is balikbayan privilege, you still must haggle with the airline's gate agent. A PHL or Philippine passport saves you all that hassle. It only costs $60 and is valid for 10 years. That's an equivalent of $6 a year or 50 cents a month. I cannot agree more with Black Mamba. I have been saying that all along. This is an important document. Let me make a suggestion. The only time you are not going to need this is if you're only going to the Philippines periodically. Maybe once every 3 years, 5 years, maybe 10 years. Then you don't need this. But be prepared to haggle with the gate agent, because sometimes they do not recognize that piece of paper called dual citizenship. This passport, let me ask you something. If you are a US citizen or a Canadian citizen or Australian citizen, do you have a US passport, Canadian passport, or Australian passport? Of course you do, right? Because that is what proves that you are a citizen of that country. Very important. This is a proof that you're a citizen of that country. Now, why is the Philippines allowing dual citizens to come in just presenting their dual citizenship paper? Well, because there is a problem. I never, first of all, during my time when I had an old Philippine passport, there was no dual citizenship, or at least I was not aware of it. And it used to be very easy to get a passport. There's a travel agency here in Philadelphia. I'll give it to him, pay him the fees. He sends it to New York. They have an office in New York. It gets processed. And at the time, there was no fingerprinting involved. And this picture here, we just sent a passport size picture. So it's very easy. Today, Philippines got sophisticated, and they now require that you be present, physically present at the consulate or the embassy, so that they can take your picture electronically. It goes automatically to your passport. They take a fingerprinting and such. Very nice, right? And I have no problem with that. The problem is, there are not too many Philippine consular offices. So what problem do you have? You cannot mail this to the Philippine consulate and have them renew it, or worse yet, get a first-time passport. You have to be there physically. So if you live in Florida, the southern tip of the United States, you have to go to New York. Or, no, not New York. I think the consulate covering Florida is Washington, D.C. So you have to fly to Washington, D.C. or drive all the way up to Washington, D.C. I don't know how many hours that is, maybe 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, for you to get your passport. It's very inconvenient. And that is the reason the Philippines probably is allowing dual citizens to just show dual citizenship paper to get into the Philippines. It is the problem. No other country recognizes dual citizenship paper. They're expecting you to present your country's passport, Philippine passport. So if you're getting out of the Philippines and let's say it's more beneficial, you're going to a country where it's more beneficial for you to present a Philippine passport rather than a Canadian, Australian, or US passport, then you are forced to have this. If you don't need it, okay, that's fine. But a lot of problems came up during the pandemic when things were very strict, and the people at the gate, except for the Philippine Airlines, PAL, were not familiar with its dual citizenship papers because everybody presents their own country's passport. You need to have a passport. So how do we solve the problem of commuting far away just to get a passport? The first time you go to the Philippines, okay, just be prepared that the gate agent may not recognize what this is. Just be prepared because everything is relative to expectation. If you expect everything to be smooth, don't expect it. Expect you will have problem. You will have to tell the agent. The agent will have to get on the computer and find out if this thing is acceptable. And it's there. Okay, it's there. So they should find it and you should be okay. But that's extra work. Except Philippine Airlines, obviously everybody goes to the Philippines, so they're very familiar with what a dual citizenship certificate is. You don't see U.S. citizens going to another country and presenting a U.S. citizenship certificate, do you? No, you don't. You have a U.S. passport. You're required to have a U.S. passport. So what do you do in that case? Okay, I cannot travel to Los Angeles, to San Francisco, to Washington, D.C., to New York. These are the places where we have Philippine consulate. The first time you go to the Philippines, present your dual citizenship certificate and be prepared with it for that hassle to happen to you. Then when you get to the Philippines, apply in the Philippines. Go to the U.S. Embassy, not U.S. Embassy, but the Philippine Department of Immigration, or is it Department of Foreign Affairs? I can't remember now. But go there, have it processed, and get yourself this. Now, in fact, when I was in the Philippines, I saw some, I don't know how they do it because they will need to take a picture, but I thought I saw some cubicles there were in public places where you can just buy this, unless they're selling fake passports. I don't know. But it's easier to go to the Philippines because Philippines is such a small country to get yourself a Philippine passport. Now, you say, well, I'm only going to be in the Philippines for 2 weeks and it takes them 1 whole month and I don't know how long it takes them to process this. Well, have them mail it to your relative in the Philippines. Once it gets mailed to your relative in the Philippines, have them mail it to you in the U.S. Now, is that a lot of hassle? Yes, but a lot less than you traveling for 8 hours, 10 hours, or even flying to another state just to get to the consular office to get your Philippine passport. So have them send it to you. Okay, yeah, there's extra cost involved, but this thing only costs, I think, $50 for 10 years. $50, $60 for 10 years, under $100 for 10 years. And you will have the convenience of not having to face any hassle when you check in, when you get to the Philippine border. And when you travel to other countries where it's more beneficial to use Philippine passport, and don't tell me there's none, because there is some. Offhand, I can't remember. I think it's, I don't know if it's Israel. No, Israel, we were also able to go without any passport. But there are some where you will get the benefit of this Philippine passport. But even if it's just to go back and forth to the Philippines, if you're going frequently, not having to face that hassle is a tremendous benefit. So be proud of your country and get yourself this. I know it's, for some people, it's difficult because of, like what I said, the commuting time. But we just have to face up to it if we want to be Filipino citizen. Oh, by the way, there is one more thing that I forgot to mention. Some people say, can I use my old Philippine passport? Let's say you still have a valid Philippine passport, and then you applied for U.S. citizenship and you got your U.S. citizenship. That old Philippine passport issued to you before you got your U.S. citizenship is no longer valid. That's invalid, and it's illegal for you to use that. You can use it only to show that you are formerly Filipino, but you are getting in as an American citizen, let's say, or as a Canadian citizen. But you're not using that old Philippine passport for you to get in. You're only showing it to prove that you are formerly a Filipino citizen, and you can enter as a balikbayan, which is different from entering as a Filipino citizen. Remember, once you become a U.S. citizen, you lose your Philippine citizenship. Now, there is a law, I can't remember if it's 1983, that says, oh, you don't lose your citizenship when you get to become an American citizen or a Canadian citizen. Well, that's true, but you still have to go through the process of applying or filing the dual citizenship papers to document it. Why that is, I have no idea. I don't agree with it, but that's how it is. Even though you haven't lost your Philippine citizenship, I guess that means they cannot deny issuing you a dual citizenship paper, but you have to go through the same process. So I'm ignoring that. It's like applying for dual citizenship also. Okay, so this is a very important document. If you cannot get it now, get it in the Philippines once you get there. And when you check out with your Philippine passport. And if you can't, because it's still being processed, have your relative mail it to you, and then you don't have to change it again after 10 years. In fact, I'll be very surprised, hopefully so, hopefully not, that I will still need a renewal, because by the time this thing expires, I'll probably be dead. So, sorry, I don't know. I hope I'm still alive by that time. I hope I'll have 3 more of these renewals. God willing, that will happen. So, thank you very much for watching, guys. Please do share this with some of your friends and relatives, and I'll appreciate it if you click like on this video. And make it a great day, and God bless.